All right, folks, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, welcome to everybody in here, out there. This is the May 26th meeting of the Town of Canandaigua Planning Board. Thanks for coming out. We will follow the agenda as published. And I think everybody, let me do a quick introduction. Kim Burke, our facilities coordinator, or remote facilities coordinator, board members, Tim Snyder, Mark Talbert, Amanda Van Laken, Bob LaCourse, I'm Chuck Euler, Kristen Smith, our zoning officer, and Chris Nadler, our attorney. And last but far from least is Karine Hatch, our recording secretary. Let's do privilege of the floor. Anyone here or remotely want to address the board regarding an issue that is not on the agenda? Now would be the time to do so. Not seeing any hands. Let's move on. We have one subdivision tonight to go through and involve a public hearing, and that has been advertised in the Daily Messenger on May 14th. So that has been duly advertised. We can continue with that hearing. And with that being said, let's move right into the agenda. First item being CPN 2025-125, Anthony Venezia, Rocco Venezia, for County Route 16, affectionately known as Ashton South subdivision. And we have correspondence from the applicant that had requested it be continued on infinitum. There's no set date, no certain date. The applicant, as we all know, is working on a redesign of the subdivision. So, Anthony, you have anything to add to that?
We're just working with the BMB with the redesign and the requests from the watershed to go through those few items of additional ponds and design. So we're still going through BMB with those final requests from the watershed to kind of get a better plan in place for the board to see.
Good. And we certainly appreciate the applicant, listening to and considering the requests of the watershed, the town, as well as our engineers. Right. So further items that come on that.
Chuck, I'm going to make a suggestion.
Sure.
That when it's brought back, it be re-advertised for a public hearing for the continuation, just so that everybody knows.
So the way the resolution reads, it's tabled indefinitely. I know we sometimes should like put dates on them, but in this case, we'll just wait till we hear back from the applicant. So that would be the case. So may I have a motion to consider a continuation of this subdivision indefinitely until we hear back from the applicant?
Second.
Motion from Tim, second from Bob. Further discussion, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, as a compatriot to that application is the final phase one subdivision, which obviously can't be acted on until the preliminary is considered. So we had also asked for a continuation of phase one, also indefinitely until we hear back from the applicant.
So moved.
Second.
This is from Mark, second from Amanda. For discussion, if not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that takes care of those items. Let's move on to Brickyard Road. We have two single stage site plans to review. The first one being 2026-013 Works Engineering, and it's for a now newly assigned address of 2330 Brickyard, which was the lot 2 of the subdivision that we had seen last year, I guess it was. So, Logan?
Sure. So this is kind of two
projects in one, but we separated them because they're technically two different lots.
Let's
Um,
take one at a time.
Sure,
Let's take-
I just wanted to make it
23,
clear
30.
that some of the grading is they're together, like along the property line, there's a swale that helped move water away from both of the houses. And since they will probably be built around the same time, that is going to happen with the grading and drainage. Because the soil is not that great and it is a little wet in that area, these are raised bed systems for the wastewater. We are tapping into the water main along Brickyard Road. And I mean, pretty straightforward. I'm not sure. Lot 2 is there is a gas easement and we have to stay away from grading and disturbing any of that. But I'll take any questions you have this time.
Logan, there were quite a few comments from the code department.
Mhm.
I think one of the concerns was the corner of the house, I guess that northeast corner, is right on the easement line.
Mhm.
And he was concerned that it would be tough, especially given if there'd be any variation having to move the house or the house moved, that you'd be in the easement, which I guess would be against the wishes of the gas company. Do you give any consideration?
There is opportunity to move the house back a bit, but I know they want to keep it as close as they can just for the fill expense. There's a significant amount of fill going in. If the board feels like there is potential to encroach on that, we can move the house back to make sure that the contractor has enough room to move around that easement.
Does it affect your side yard on the other side at all?
The setback line is, the house is right on that setback line, so moving it further south would make us have to get a variance. So the only option without getting a variance is to move it to the west.
How's the board feel about that?
I'm not here or there about either way.
It just seems that if you're just digging the foundation, if in fact that's where the house is gonna be, I don't know, is that a spec house? Is that a house that's already been decided on? Is it its size, its
I
footprint?
believe the footprint has been decided and those were uploaded. It's not, I imagine it's very similar to the other Pinnacle homes that have been built along Brickyard.
Didn't you get something from the gas company, that pipeline that you could do only thing? You can go to that line, but you couldn't go over it? I think I remember that from the very beginning.
Usually at the standard.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of remembering.
So the goal is to not grade or disturb, I mean,
Yeah.
construction work, there is potential to go over and drive over that easement line, but the goal is to not.
I guess that's the question. Can you be on the easement with construction equipment and? I know gas companies get nervous anytime they say backhoe on their gas easement.
I totally understand that. I'm not sure if there should be a note saying that equipment should stay off or staging or anything like that, or we could just move it to it far enough away, but I'm not sure what that depth or distance is that you would feel comfortable having on the plan.
Oh,
Well, it could leave up to code too, as far as the issuance of building permit.
you know what the pipeline say, anything about that?
I don't,
Temporary?
I haven't had any correspondence with them or know how they feel about
All right.
having construction that close. I just know that the pipe's in the middle of that easement, so that the buffer is there for protection.
Why don't we just say as a condition that you construct a house in conformance with whatever the easement language
Yeah.
is.
I think that's a good idea.
Without you having the easement language,
Right.
us having it,
Yeah, I
and
think-
whatever that language is, and I guess we'll leave it up to the building department as
Yeah.
far as prior to issuing the building permit, that they make sure that you're in compliance. Okay,
I think that-
that
I think
takes
that's
care
a
of
good
that
idea.
condition. We're playing with some gas line. How you making out with your septic system?
We haven't heard back from DOH as of today. So I mean, that would have to be a condition of approval that all comments and design changes be made prior to signature.
Okay, yeah, if we leave that condition, usually have a standard condition, of course, then that's, applies to the septic system. So, put that in there.
Just to be clear, what do you want it to be conditioned upon? Is there something right about?
I think we make it, that
That
the
septic be approved
septic
by
be
the state.
approved prior to the issuance of the C of O, right?
Yep.
So you run the risk of
Right.
the house and then, but that's risk is on you. Okay, the county planning board, they just expressed a little bit of concern of proximity to, well, not a concern, but just let it be known that it's in proximity to the New York State Ag District, which we know. The address has been assigned. The subdivision was recorded, right? They created the
Right.
last.
Because that was, we submitted and that was kind of a point of contention that we didn't have that documentation because it was just newly subdivided, but we provided that on the next round of ERC review. So that has been submitted.
Okey-doke. Subdivision recorded. So is the, I guess the applicant is Ms. Bukowski. Though Pinnacle is gonna build homes, right?
Right.
Okay. So approvals to occur. Work rep fee, we have that in the conditions, yes, thank you. Jim Fletcher, no big issue, he said, about the driveway culvert. You'll have to do a direct drill for the water service under Brickyard.
The driveway. Then that here. 30-foot stabilized,
The blacktop.
blacktop, I don't see it on here.
I usually pick that up, and I wasn't sure it was in the,
I can add that. Yeah.
might be in the details.
Yeah, they normally put action or something there.
Yeah.
He's got the tire scrubber for the construction.
Yeah.
Okay, so stormwater management wise. Down on grade, splash blocks.
Right, I don't think I have that on there either, but I will add that in.
Well, I mean, we're not looking at any sophisticated.
No, I mean,
areas there.
I believe that's what's going to happen as far as drainage goes, is just splash
Okay.
blocks and then have it drain between the two parcels and then go out to the west.
And I don't think there's any drainage issues. Currently, there's get the pond in the back, that's gonna be a lot.
Yep.
Okay. Does anyone in the audience want to address the board regarding this application? This is the new lot at 2330 Brickyard. If not, let's move on and consider a couple motions. We have a type 2 seeker and a site plan. And if you want to put them together, have at it.
Sure. I'll make the motion to bundle the secret type 2 action and single stage site plan approval for CPN 20260113 at 2330 Yard Road. And it's how many conditions of it? Get up to 8 conditions, right then.
You just read them.
We have the information on the gas easement prior to issuance of the building permit, and then we have septic approval prior to the issuance of the city.
Was there also thinking about asphalt?
Yeah, yeah.
You want the,
It needs to be here, if it's not, we've been burned on it
Yeah.
before. I know Logan's not gonna miss it, but
So nine conditions.
9 conditions.
Can I just make a note for finding 12? Clarifying the address. So this is lot 2, 2330.
So, yep,
And then the next one is 2332. Okay.
thank you.
Yep.
Good catch, man.
That's with that, I'll second. If it's not seconded already.
no,
Okay, Tim, you made a motion. Did we get a second?
I mean,
I second.
Okay, Amanda seconded. And further discussion, if not all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Okay. Let's move on to 2332, lot 3. Essentially the same without the easement, right?
Very similar.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we don't need the easement condition.
No, it's less restrictions, still no
And
variances. Guessing it'll be the same conditions except for the easement.
The other two, as far as the septic system and the driveway. They are 12-foot driveways, right?
Correct.
You
Yeah.
stated that.
Yeah.
All been- I guess in the approval of the subdivision, we referred the ZBA variance that reduced the lot sizes from 2 acres to 1. Okay, I guess we don't, other than maybe you put them in, somebody might come back and question, why is it only a 1 acre?
Yeah, the variances should be noted on
They're on the
Site plan.
subdivision. Yeah.
Yep, this- we have a condition that says variances should be noted on the plan,
and that for both.
on the site plan and then subdivision. Subdivision plan has been signed and filed.
Yes.
As far as I know.
It was on the subdivision, I've never seen that, but it's just, you know, somebody comes back, looks at the site plan, says you've got a
Absolutely. I
1 acre lot and a 2 acre zoning.
Yep, we're thinking, Chuck.
If you could also put that in the previous one,
Go up to 10.
if you don't mind.
I don't mind.
You don't mind?
No, that's fine.
No
Yep.
objection.
The applicant has no objection.
It says, thank you for putting the reminder in writing.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Resolution travel. Oh, okay, the resolution. 232, right? Okay, we got it. Board, anything else? Anything I picked up, first thing I think in the findings, under the code comments, you just redid what you did for lot 2, because you have all references to lot 3 should be.
Okay.
Okay, so just all references to lot 2, and just make sure there's other ones applied. It occurs, there's another bullet, same way. Okay, again, audience, anybody in the audience want to address the board regarding this lot? Okay, if not, someone will give me a bundled motion for both the seeker and the site.
I can take that. So I'll make a motion for the seeker type 2 and the single stage site plan for 2614 at 2332 Brickyard. I believe we're up to 9 with the size, the septic and the driveway.
9 or 8? Oh, seeker.
9.
Wait,
9 again.
2314 and.
I don't know if they're ready.
Okay, I got a motion,
Second.
Mark, got a second. All right, for discussion, not, all in favor,
Aye.
opposed. Let's have it.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Logan. Yep. Okay, dude. Moving on to the CPN. See you again, Jack. Thanks for coming out. CPN 2026-028. This is for 5425 Wells Curtis. And this is a subdivision, single stage subdivision of a 25.6 acre parcel into two lots. One lot being 12.27 acres, the other lot being 12.7 acres. And it's in the RR3 district. And with that preamble, I will open the hearing. And Anthony Venezia representing the applicant.
Yes, okay, so what we have is it's a pretty standard 2-lot subdivision on Wells Curtis Road. It's a father and son that own it, and they want to split it for future development to put a single family home on and septic system on each lot. The general nature of the site, it is kind of a long paraparcel, regardless of the width versus length. We do need that waiver just because it is such a long parcel. Anything we would do, even if we cut off a little chunk of the road, we're still needing that for whatever's left over. They have future plans to develop 2 homes on there. Nothing further back than 500 feet from the road due to current fire codes and additional water sprinkler systems that are being required at this time. So it's pretty straightforward. There are some NRI districts that push into the west. There's the creek, there's steep slopes, there's hardwood forest there. They're all kind of noted, but most of that is, the back half of the property. And there's no plan to access it. You can't really do anything anyway. It's the steep slope, so they're just gonna use it for hunting and the same thing that it's used for in the back, minus 2 homes and maybe a small barn when they build the houses.
Anthony, you had requested 2 waivers of our regulations.
Length and width, and then I
You want
believe
to
the
tell us
perk
what
test.
they are and why?
It's the length versus width. They are, like I said, it's a relatively deep lot. And then also at this time, they don't have exact plans to start building, so we're not doing that. We're requesting not to do any perk tests this time.
You okay before building permits or see it all?
We'll have to come back for it anyway, so.
We usually do a note, she'll be added to the plan that perk tests will be done before building permits are issued.
Didn't we do the last time? Didn't we say that, didn't we have a note on, we just did one.
Yes, they're not buildable lots until perk tests.
There you go.
I think we have a note on there saying that they're not buildable until site plan approval from the town of Canada with general notes anyway.
Yeah, probably finds the condition to make sure.
I think your condition was a little more detailed than that.
Yeah.
I like your wording better. Yours was kind of general. This was specific that it's not a building lot and you'd have to come back and, as Chris said, get the approval for the septic systems. Okay, so
Looking at it.
you have that in condition, right?
Yep.
Okay, so is everybody happy with the note that's in the condition that be what Anthony puts on the plan?
Not thinking of. She meant
you know, read it.
so
Is it published?
forwarded to town office.
Okay, are you okay with that note?
Yep.
Mhm. And how do we feel about the length versus the width? We need that waiver.
I don't have a problem with that at all.
Have an issue with the fact that you don't restrict further development. Yes.
Yeah, nothing else will be.
Land features, you can't really do that.
I just have one question, maybe to you, Chuck, even the mid lot is 225. And this frontage is 223 and the other one is like 3 something. Does it have to be 225 at the road?
It is actually,
There's
there's
an
second dimension.
There's an arc.
If you zoom in, there's an arc that's just labeled.
I have the same-
Misfable?
First, I had the same question. I got it. Yeah. I was ready for it. If you zoom into the road frontage is, one of them's 2, there's a arc and a chord. So if you add those up, it's the middle distance. Yeah, I think that 9503 in there.
I need more glasses, I guess.
So you have the 223, then you have the 95, so. I believe that district, we have to have 300. Now, is it not 225? Because we can do 2 lots. We're trying to get to 3, but we don't have the frontage.
Yeah, I remember that.
But yeah.
Yeah, I remember, yeah. I remember when they bought it, I lived in the neighborhood, so it's like. I remember they were talking to get three, and that'd be tough.
Yeah,
Okay, as long as you got the two.
Did you have to get a JD on this? We talked about it.
I put one in and waiting to hear back from it, so I mean, it's probably gonna be a conditional for a final signature.
Okay, and we have that.
We did the JD because of the little section is indented,
Mhm.
just because that little section, the southwest corner, Menteith Gully kind of clips the corner in there.
Okay, I think let's make that a condition.
Yeah, we did put it in, so.
Mhm.
And well. On subdivisions, I don't need to put it in this then. But site plans, we should probably.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
When you actually start turning dirt.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, maybe, because then maybe.
well, you say you have it
I put
in.
it in, so I mean,
So assuming you're gonna hear back.
I should be hearing
next
back.
year or two.
Yeah.
Okay, see, the way we talked about the NRI features, we've got wetlands, we got some northern hardwoods. We got steep slopes and they're all to the rear of the property. I think you pulled them out.
Yeah, I did a little steep slope indicate on the top,
Huh?
so shade area.
Okay, so got this delineated. The ECB had asked that, well, they were concerned about the NRI features, so as a result, try to keep the, any construction in the future close to the road.
Yeah, it will be.
Which
Yeah, but all, yeah,
makes sense.
it's, they've already started cutting brush out of there. Yeah, I know,
I mean,
I know, I mean, yeah.
they're gonna
It's just-
go the, you know,
yeah.
to the east of that wood line that runs down, probably almost splits it in half. They're not
Yeah.
really doing anything. There might be, you know, a little food plot for hunting back there, but nothing, they're not. I mean, they wanna
Not
keep
far
it as is.
Yeah, that would be a long driveway.
Yeah,
The Ag Committee looked at the application and found no loss of ag lands. Since the size and configuration of the lot is what it is, I guess the thought has to be, or at least have to be mentioned about a conservation subdivision, but it's certainly, there's no justification in this case for a conservation subdivision, but at least it was discussed at this meeting. The other thing was, and the ECB recommended, and I know it came up with the PRC, possibly actual physical construction, conservation easement to the rear of the property.
I've spoke to the applicant about that, the owner, and they're just not willing to do it. They wanna have the free reign of their land and be able to do what they want.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not sure what value would have other than it's, you're never gonna build back there.
it's land that's always gonna be conserved anyway, just in the general
between
nature of
the,
what it is.
Physical
Yeah.
restrictions and.
You're not getting back there into that one area of that little ridge back that's there to do anything anyway. You're just,
I guess you could put a, you know, a barn or something back there.
you would never, the driveway would be just,
Oh, yeah, no, yeah,
Well, you'd never get through the gulch.
yeah.
yeah,
no.
Yeah.
it's really steep.
Okay.
Very determined.
Yeah,
I guess Jim Fletcher had pointed out that it's not in the water district. It's just short of it, or part of it is, so that's something you have to consider as far as future water service.
Mhm.
Addresses were assigned for the two lots, so we have those. Doesn't affect the subdivision. And that's all I got. Anybody else have anything? Okay, anybody in the audience? Here, there? All right, let's move on then. This is a subdivision, therefore an unlisted action under seeker, so we have to spend a little more time on it. I'll make a motion that we accept this as an unlisted action under seeker. And as part of that, consider part two, and therefore resulting in the signature of part three on my behalf. And I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
We have a motion, a second to accept this as an unlisted action under seeker. For discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, let's move on to the subdivision itself.
I'll make a motion for the single stage subdivision for 26028 on Wells Curtis Road. We had 3 existing conditions that Kristen, we add, modify.
Yeah, we were going to add the jurisdictional determination prior to building.
So that's fine.
Yeah. So 4 as written.
Second.
Okay, motion second, for the discussion, so in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thanks, Anthony.
Thank you very much.
Hmm.
See you, bud. Have a good night.
Oh, R3, yep. Okay, let's move on to 2026-031. Scott, you're up for 5275 15th Drive. It's a single stage site plan, which includes the stockpile of shale excavated from a neighboring parcel, resulting in the placement and accumulation of more than 5 cubic yards of material. And I guess that's why you're in front of us.
Yes.
And this is a unique one for us. You want to tell us what's happened, Scott?
Sure. It's a unique one for me too. I think in all the years that I've been doing projects in your town, I don't think I've ever applied for such a permit from the DEC and received it. We have received the DEC permit. We received letters of no action from the Army Corps of Engineers and the Office of Governmental Services from New York State. The purpose of the project is to relieve the accumulation of shale around the boat station and docks so that the boat station and docks can be used this summer. There's been a lot of activity with shale migration around that area. And so back in January, I think it was, we decided to take action and make application to the DEC. By the way, this is Peter Ragusa to my right. He's the property manager for the 4 or 5 parcels here that are controlled by the owners. And he has some better history of the property if there are questions that I can't answer. So we took a look at it. We measured the shale accumulation. And Peter was part of a discussion with the DEC. They had a Zoom meeting with us, and their botanist and biologist took a look at the situation, made some recommendations to us. What that main recommendation is to remove the 2 docks to the south, which we're going to do as part of the shale removal project. We're not going to return those docks. They will be gone after the project is complete. Another thing that we learned in dealing with the DEC is that they view the shale as solid waste. And so the reason we are stockpiling the shale is because in order to take it to the next step, we have to get additional permits from them to take it to a landfill to accept shale as solid waste. I noticed that the Environmental Conservation Board did not like our proposed stockpile of shale. And I don't believe the owners are going to want it there for long. So I believe it to be a temporary location while we get permits to take it to its final destination. If the board would like us to guarantee that performance by way of a letter of credit or something like that, we would certainly be prepared to do so. We also work with a landscape architect who serves the various parcels, and whatever restoration might be needed would certainly be done. The owners are very sensitive about this property. You may recall that we were here some time ago. Now it's been a few years, I guess, when they wanted to build a single family home on this property. And the trees that we show are a result of the tree inventory survey that we did. And you'll notice that we have identified the stockpile area in a location to avoid impact to all those trees which were designated trees of value. So the Shotlands have been and are sensitive to the neighborhood, the environment. And I was sensitive to the Environmental Conservation Board's comments on the stockpile. So the stockpile is really only there because of time. It takes so much time to go through this permitting process with all these affected agencies that we were advised by the DEC that if we could stockpile it on site, that they could give us the permit. And of course, we're at the 11th hour here with summer starting. Boats are wanting to be used and it's kind of showtime for us. So that's my overview of the project.
I guess a point of clarification I have is the actual removal of the shale is not something this board, we are primarily looking at the placement of the shale stockpile,
Right.
which is occurring on 5272, right?
Yes.
So really, the 5275 aspect of it, other than that the shale's coming from that location,
Mhm.
is not something of our prerogative or purview. Is that true?
Yes, like if this was a guy who, if this property owner just happened to be in the landscaping business and had a ton of shale that he needed to store temporarily, it would be the exact, from some job he did 10 miles down the road. Exact same thing, they're dumping a pile of, they're stockpiling shale.
But I think what triggered it is the 5 yard or more removal
Right,
from the
correct.
first property.
Right.
No,
No.
it's a 5 yard or more
Phil,
To the property.
stockpiling of,
So
I don't think it's on the first preference. Below the mean high water mark, I'm assuming.
so
Scott, is it below the mean high water mark?
We're excavating below mean high water, which is why we had to get the permit. And when I cited the location for the stockpile, I spoke to Mike Murphy, who advised that we get it up on the higher side of the lot, so we're out of the floodplain. So that's where we are with that. Does that answer the question?
is my question is the requirement for soil? Because shale is technically aggregate and not soil.
Material.
It's a material.
What's the code says material person, is that correct? Which makes sense, because sometimes it's gravel, sometimes it's dirt, sometimes it's.
There's different characteristics for potential erosion.
I don't think our zoning code recognizes the distinction for purposes of stockpiling. If it's more than 5 cubic yards, it needs a permit or needs site plan approval.
And there wasn't a solution that left it in the lake.
No, we didn't have a solution that
If
way.
we put it on a barge, we'll plug on the barge. Gotta say real fast.
And I guess my experience with shale and doing this sort of thing is that it's not very erodible. We can wrap it in silt fence, but there's nothing really gonna come off of it.
No, there won't. There's no silver.
Right. But nevertheless, we show silt fence.
What,
road.
I'm curious, what will you have to demonstrate for its final destination?
Yeah.
We'll have to go through the permitting process with the DEC and find,
You
It says-
can't chemically test it, it's stone.
I don't know the permitting process for
What's the
for next
concern?
step.
What's the concern? It's not environmentally contaminated like our other project. We have to get that all tested before we all go.
You're just being.
We're not trying to push you on the spot.
You know what?
I will curious.
I asked the question why we had to do it. They just told me we had to do it. I didn't pursue it a whole lot further,
Right.
except to learn that we have to get a host of more permits from them. So getting a little permit weary, we opted for the stockpile, but if it's troublesome to the Environmental Conservation Board, we can move it on to the next location.
very,
Well, like-
very basic. Why do you have to remove the ship? Is it a navigational problem? Is it an environmental problem?
Yeah, I mean,
Is it a
if you look at,
aesthetic problem?
if you go to sheet 2 of the drawing set.
Yeah.
And use, and you zoom in on the docks.
Yeah, you can see your proposed contours.
You can see the existing contours of the shale and the proposed contours. I'm trying to think if we submitted any photographs, so the photographs are a lot better. But
Encore shows it pretty good, actually.
does Encore show it?
Yeah, I can see a ledge right there. Where it's at.
So it's a,
I'm in favor of putting some sort of time frame around it. So
Scott, what do you think the timeframe should be?
We're there for.
For getting into the destination.
Yeah,
I think the owners really don't want to disturb the neighborhood much more than they have to after this first shale removal takes place, so I think after Labor Day, we could, we could certainly pursue that.
I don't know if you're gonna have permits by then,
Right, but
maybe 12 months.
Yeah, could-
Less.
we'll do it
I
expeditiously.
understand what's gonna take so long.
The DEC. I mean, sometimes they, by the way,
Yeah, that's who I used to go for, if you remember.
were you guys rapid fire? Depending on the
Somebody can
region,
call, yes, I get.
Vale and its associated drill cuttings can contain elevated levels of naturally occurring radioactive materials. It says AI, but
So if you were with the DEC, maybe you can help us out here. We're just trying to comply.
No, I understand, I was in environmental remediation where things were really detailed. Solid waste is different. So I'm just scratching my head, trying to think of what. I mean, you're obviously gonna have to take it to there's some food facility where you're gonna have to test it in some way, right, to say that it can go anywhere. But I don't know what it's been exposed to. I mean, he's in a lake.
and naturally radioactivity naturally occurs in shale, apparently, or can.
Well, yeah, radon comes from jail.
So this is radioactive materials. NORM/TENORM.
You know, AI is good for about 80%. You gotta use.
I disclaimed this.
Percentage generous.
again, Scott, Peter, somebody's gotta tell me why this has to be removed. Well, the shale.
Well, you know even
Why
better.
can't you live with it the way it is? I mean, I'm just thinking, you go in there, you start disturbing the lakefront. It's like when you go in and disturb a stream bed and you start, hogging it out, trying to divert it or do something. Sometimes it creates more problems after the fact. So again, why do the Shawans need to shale out of this?
Continue to build up, this is my tenure there, it's
Mhm.
fully creeped out. To the point where we're having a hard time getting any boats or jet skis into the slips. So this has kind of been a growing pain of Peter Shaw's time. Scott was able to arrange a really helpful call with Rob Call from DEC, where he pretty much said to the gentleman, like, this is our problem, it keeps growing. You guys are the experts, what's our solution? And the DEC said, we don't love issuing dredging permits, but everyone can ask for one once and we're receptive. But he said the issue is likely because we have 2 slips that were added in 2009 that are starting to catch some of the shale. So now DEC didn't say we need to remove those, but Peter said that's our problem. Let's get rid of those 2 slips. And Rob, if you were to give us a permit, one-time permit, let's dredge. And if it solves the issue, then great. If not, then we'll explore other opportunities. Unfortunately, the DEC is pretty strict. By any shale disturbed has to leave the lake. It can't go back in. That was very firm, and it's the botanists and the biologists also hammered into us that we need to make sure it's taken out of the water.
So the purpose is for the use and convenience of the property owner. in terms of being able to use their lakefront.
Is it also to de-water the shale? Is that one of the other reasons? Was there any discussion about doing whatever testing for your solid waste disposal? Can you test that material before you even dredge it?
So
Test it in place.
I'm gonna I'm also equally confused too as to why shale is treated as toxic waste. And again, I didn't push that question to
Well-
DC, but my understanding was they were very like black and white with us, which I kind of appreciated. They said you have an issue, and if you want to resolve it before summer, you gotta find a way to keep the material on site. Because the second you want to transport it, we require testing of what's coming out and also testing of the facility it's going to be deposited to. So they said to shorten that window for permitting, try and find an area on the property. Now, fortunately, the Shallons had this empty lot, so stockpiling it became a nice solution in order to resolve our issue right now. And then in a few months, when we have additional permitting from the DEC, take it somewhere else.
I gotta ask, is there an option to move your dock out further?
There is.
I mean, that is an option, right then.
It is, and we've discussed that. Obviously, it's a huge expense. And that requires more disruption, in our opinion, to the lake bed. And that's probably gonna be what happens if this doesn't work out. But I have no degree in engineering. I have a trust the DEC said, and they brought to our meeting many photos taken each year since 2006 of the shale buildup. And it was pretty much when we started to add those two slips when we kind of saw the issues. So our team really does believe that this could be a long-term solution to our problem.
Okay. You've given us the reasons why the shale has to be removed. Something that
The heavy lift was getting the permit to work in place.
Yes.
You're not gonna have that kind of lift to get rid of solid waste. And solid waste is different than hazardous waste. Just so you.
Right.
Do you need the DEC to sign off on the removal, or is this an engineer testing of those? Get Labella's environmental team in there and have them test it, or it's okay.
I haven't taken a step into exactly what they want for the next level, but I suppose it could be something like that. Get environmental,
Those two.
get an environmental firm to, confirm that it's okay and it doesn't have any contamination, in which case we can take it someplace. I suppose if they find something in there that's not nice, we'll have to take it somewhere else and mitigate it.
I think the risk is if you can't ever move it.
So if I could ask that, so when I spoke to Rob Hall from the DEC, it didn't sound like there was a lot of risk in moving this material around. It was mostly the paperwork that would go with it that would take so long, which is why if you find some place to keep it on your property, then you can do this soon. But if you have to haul it away, you have to follow X, Y, and Z. And
So there's 99% sure there's not a risk that you can't move it. If it's got radiation in it, you can move it. It just costs a small fortune to find a place that you can put. Disagree, Tim?
Yeah, you wouldn't be dealing with radiation waste as a solid waste is more.
Whatever
You think
radiation.
solid waste, you think garbage, hazardous waste, you think chemicals, right? So one of the other things that I suggest maybe you should inquire about is whether this material could be used for daily cover at an area of landfill. And a lot of times that material requires less testing or any testing because they know where it's going to be put. Okay? And I'll also contact the DEC regionally we have on solid waste division. And ask the questions, what you have to do to move the shale. I'm surprised that they didn't have somebody from solid waste in your meetings with you. Considering all of the different disciplines you're talking with about your permit to remove the stuff.
Well, we presented the exact same plan to them. And we went along with their
They weren't,
suggestion.
then they weren't concerned because it wasn't going anywhere.
Right.
right, Tim? You're gonna leave,
Well,
you can leave it
you're
on
saying,
site.
you know, these are my boundaries. I deal with wetlands, right? I deal with.
Yeah, but if
shoreline.
it's staying on site, they don't need a solid waste guy. Just Scott said, here, we're gonna move it from here to here on the same site.
Yeah,
I think before it comes out of the water, you put a condition on it that somebody's gotta be willing to take it. If it takes time to get the permits, but somebody's willing to take it, that's. I would consider that to be a reasonable risk.
Cause I put that down, Kristen, cause that,
What-
you can prove that to me, I believe, Scott.
you know, the other thing is that
So you'd like us to test the shale as we excavate it? Is that what you'd like us to do?
I think what you should do is have in your own mind what you need to do to satisfy solid waste
Mhm.
before you put a shovel in the ground. Because if you can get whatever approvals you need from them about the material that's in place,
Mhm.
and you can direct load and send it somewhere, whether it's for residential backfill or it's gotta go to landfill for daily cover.
Mhm.
This way you know, and you don't even have to stop.
Okay.
And I would agree. That would be another plan. Dig it and get it all with approvals.
Amen.
With all the permits.
But I think DEC has told them that they don't think they're gonna be able to do that fast enough.
Yeah, no, well, why do we have to do it so fast? So
Yeah.
somebody can vote. There's no hurry to get it done.
Why do you
Really,
think that's if
except
you
for.
remove
I think they wanna use it this summer, I think they wanna do it.
Right, but I'm just saying. Don't try to make good landing out of a bad approach, so. So just
Sounds like a pilot thing.
it is.
All right, well,
Do it, have the permits. and get
Go
it
ahead.
done. My thought was. Same with Tim.
assuming it's now being removed. And let's now focus on if it will be placed on the site next door.
Then we don't have to do anything. There's no
Uh,
action required if we're.
the ECB brought up a lot of good issues that have to be considered. I think they were spot on as far as the effect on the trees, the effect on the flow of stormwater through the property, which we know certainly about those issues. So I think their concerns, we have to think about it as far as the pile itself. And being located where it is and for how long it's located. Cause certainly, if it's there for just 6 months, could have an effect on the root system and the placement in terms of limbs being broken and bringing material in. I mean, it is a tight, you got a tight footprint there.
Yeah, it's only estimated to be 2 to 3 feet high. It's not.
That was another question. Nowhere does it say what your height was. You had the, is it 5,000 yards?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, before we go too far down, and I'm not. You guys are the deciders on the environmental end. But I wanna be very clear, and Tim, correct me if I'm wrong, please, but it can go somewhere. No matter what it is, there's no law that says you can't remove that. It's that you have to find somebody to take it. It might cost 10 times more. I mean, I'm not trying to beat up on radioactivity, but if it was a spent uranium rod from a nuclear power plant, somebody will take that. You can remove that. You just have to pay a lot of money to protect it and dispose of it somewhere else. So no matter what this substance is, it can go somewhere off-site. There's no law that says you gotta keep toxic stuff on your property.
No, don't use that word, solid waste. That term that they-
Solids, excuse me.
Yeah, that's.
Either way,
Another thing.
There's no law that says either one of those. You can find somebody to dispose of stuff. So I wanna be very clear.
So then that's why I said we should find who will take it first.
First.
Okay.
Get the permits
Yeah,
in place.
because you're asking the question, well, okay, are we approving you to put solid waste on this parcel?
Not a zoning issue, not a site plan issue, honestly. I understand the concern, but this is,
DEC's defined it as a solid waste.
whatever it is, it's a DEC, that's a DEC issue. It's not a zoning board issue.
Okay, if we say if we think about solid
Yeah.
waste is what goes into a landfill.
Okay,
Garbage,
yes.
okay? So if, in general, somebody wanted to stockpile garbage on their property, we probably wouldn't entertain it, would we?
Maybe.
So let's clear our mind of that it is shale, which seems obvious to all of us, it's a rock. But the DEC says it's solid waste.
Right.
So the DEC says it could be garbage.
And we know the DEC is not known to react quickly, so, I mean, we get extension requests all the time because DEC hasn't responded.
Yeah, but so. I guess if it's, no matter what substance it is, that's a DEC issue. This is a shale, this is shale. If the DEC classifies as a solid gold, it doesn't matter. This is shale because our zoning officer determined it to be shale. Now, she just used what the applicant told her, but I think it's gonna look and feel and taste like shale when it comes out of that lake. And if it doesn't, then the DEC is probably gonna have an issue. But that's a DEC issue. I just wanna make sure we're staying in our wheelhouse. Because it's being complicated by the DEC's involvement and the imposition of what sounds like an odd rule. But doesn't strike me as insurmountable. And I think if you wanted to condition it, that the applicant demonstrate, not that they test it, but that they can demonstrate that it can, no matter what it is, it can go somewhere. It's not gonna remain there.
Getting back to the removal, we did receive correspondence and pictures from the Knights. I see they're online with us tonight.
Looking to come.
Yeah, I think now would be the appropriate time, if the Knights individually or together would like to address the board, now would be the time to do so regarding your property next door.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can. And that's Peter Knight.
It is.
Good evening, Peter.
How are you? The issue for us is that about a decade or so ago, the Shotlands erected a break wall below the high water mark, along with a stone barrier, and that has impacted the natural flow of shale that occurs. As you know, the shale that's there comes from Menteith Creek, flow in the lake goes from south to north, and with that flow goes the shale. That's how the points were created over the last 10,000 years or whatever. And since that break wall went in, we've had 15 feet, and I enclosed the pictures, 15 feet of erosion at the point where the break wall starts and goes in their property. And the reason why there's been accumulation of shale on their property is because of that event with the impediment of the flow, the natural flow of shale. Recently, in the last probably year, a pile of shale has gotten big enough that it's been able to almost start to overwhelm the break wall, so that we're beginning to see some replenishment of that shoreline. And if we remove all that shale, then that's not going to happen any longer, and we're going to continue with more and more erosion. So what I've asked the Shotlands to do, but they don't want to do it, is remove that break wall and the stones that exist there for two reasons. One, because I'd like to have my shoreline back, and two, because this problem is not going away. It will be remediated briefly by the excavation of shale, but the accumulation is inexorable. Without that shale, we're just going to get further and further erosion. And as I said, the pictures that we submitted tell the whole story.
Okay, Mrs. Knight, would you like to address the board?
I'm sorry, one more thing. I'd like to point out that the shale that exists on first of all, it's not on their property, right? It's in the lake. And the property ownership of the property ends, is my understanding, at the high water mark. But that shale belongs to everybody. It doesn't belong to them. It belonged to the people south of them until it came onto their property, and it belongs to me when it transits into my property, and then on and on and on. It's not It's not a resource that exists for them. It's shared by all of us and everybody on that lake.
Mrs. Knight?
Yes, hi. I agree with everything Peter said. I also just wanted to say that I did submit some pictures that I started taking in 2017 when the shoreline really started to deteriorate. And I've taken a picture from 2011, which shows our approach to our dock. And then I showed a picture from November of 2025, which that's a old picture, or that's a picture in the middle of this process. And then there's a picture, we had to actually add dock to get to our land, to get from our land onto our dock because it's water now. So that's what it used to look like. And the land between our two properties were almost like one property. They were both level. We had the same amount of shale, and now it's very different. And the picture that you're looking at right now, that corner right there, where the break wall goes down the property line and all those rocks, we were just now starting to get the shale to overcome that and stop the erosion. But if the rocks are not removed and if that piece of wood is not removed, it's just going to continue to deteriorate. And it seems to be going faster and faster every year now. And like Peter said, we have lost about 15 feet of depth of our shoreline since the break wall went in. So, our issue is that if any more shale is disturbed or removed, it's just going to create more erosion for us. So that's my objection.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else in the audience want to address the board regarding this? Okay, the way I look at this thing is the removal of the shale is something that's controlled and regulated by the DEC. Okay, and they have certain standards. You're not required to get anything from the Corps of Engineers. We saw that correspondence. Nothing from the General Services. They didn't. They begged off. So it's really between you and the DEC regarding the removal of the shale. If the shale was being removed and hauled off site immediately, it would not be an issue at all with us. Okay. Again, our involvement here is because the shale is being picked up, carried next door, put on a piece of property under the auspices of more than 5 cubic yards of fill material, also under the regulations of Chapter 165, which is what my concerns are regarding the effect it will have on the environment, both the tree environment, the stormwater environment, as well as the visual environment of what it looks like. And I don't want to start a precedent either. I think if we start winding up with properties along the lake, dredging, and then taking it and putting it on their property and going through a process, I think the goal and what we want here is for when you're going to pick something up out of the lake, you're going to have a place to take it. You're not going to store it on your site, and it's got to be moved off site, and that should all be part of your planning before you do the actual work. So again, that's my feeling. I think that DCB, Kim, it's a great report that you folks gave us, and it was very helpful to me. And I think I understand it better, and that's my opinion.
These are two separate parcels, right?
Two separate parcels. Yep.
Yes.
Owned by the same person.
He's uncomfortable taking it from one parcel to the other.
So yeah, our charge is the file.
No, I understand.
Yep. Okay. It's not the removal of the shale.
Okay, so the application we have before us, as explained by the applicant, is to store solid waste on this other parcel.
No.
I'm uncomfortable.
No, I gotta cut you off. It's not solid waste. That's what the DEC defines it as. Our town defines it as shale. Now, I understand that they might be the same thing,
I
but
cannot ignore what was presented to the board. That the DEC defines it as solid waste until they get a permit to do something with it. Did I not hear that correctly?
Then I wouldn't care if it was popcorn.
I know.
Okay, because it's fill, I don't care what the material is, it's fill being placed in a location that's environmentally sensitive. In terms of both foliage and runoff.
I understand.
Yep.
Close to the
I
creek.
was telling you why I feel uncomfortable with these.
Because it's more than pop. It's solid waste.
So,
Okay.
yeah, I would just, I would,
So Chuck, based on your theory, if we found a place that could accept it tomorrow, which I don't think we can, but if we could. Then we wouldn't need town involvement at all then.
No.
Is that what you're saying?
if you do say that there.
If we found a, say Seneca Meadows landfill or something like that could accept it as cover.
This thing says that Casella, Weitzman, Syracuse, Suburban, Labella all have 360, they're called 364 permits. And they can move stuff like this.
So finish your premise, yes, if you
So
dredged it.
if we dredge it and don't stockpile it, even though the DEC told us to. And we get it to its final destination, then the town wouldn't have any involvement in it, we wouldn't have to secure any approval from you folks.
Nothing is for it. Chris, is there any other controls that they would have if they picked it up and hauled it off site?
I have no idea because it's an issue between them and the DEC and not a town of Canandaigua issue.
Okay.
Now, we're not being asked to regulate DEC issues.
No.
The issue here is that it triggers the excavation,
No, the fill,
well,
placement of fill.
excavation in the town of Canandaigua is defined as the process of the removal or stockpiling of sand, gravel, soil, or other natural deposits by stripping or digging of a site. I look up the definition of site. My interpretation of that is that they spread it out 2 inches thick. They don't have a stockpile, and this board has no say in it. We're being asked to say, is this an okay location for a pile of shale, not solid waste, toxic waste, radioactive waste, anything like that. A pile of shale. That's what the town of Canandaigua defines as a stockpile. Site isn't.
God, I think
It is what
you
it is.
get my drift. I think, and I don't want to speak for the whole board, but we'll find out when we vote. Yeah, pick it up and haul it off site. It may be you lose time because you can't stockpile it somewhere on the site. It'll take a while to find a depository for the material, but and I don't hear any justification for why the material has to be moved quickly in terms of either environmental, navigation, or regulatory reasons. It's just for the convenience and use of your dock. Which we all have.
Yeah, it is for the convenience and use of the dock, and the season is upon us, that's all. But I think what I'd like to do, because there seems to me to be some information missing from the DEC, if we could then table our application and perhaps get more information from the DEC on the solid waste that you speak about, we'll have more information to share with you. I mean, I agree with what you're saying. It's very logical what you're saying. The DEC just advised us to do this and we sent it in, they issued their permit to us, we felt it was acceptable. But by the same token, I saw the ECB comments and I know where you're coming from.
So you're asking for a continuance to the next meeting?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that'll get you.
Maybe some
What kind of
information.
information you're gonna get from the DEC, but
Well, I would suggest you call Avon tomorrow. To speak to one of the regional engineers Greg McLean.
Okay,
Those that had solid waste for a number of years when I was there.
okay.
He's one of the two regional.
I'll mention your name to him.
Sure. Just so.
Tim said it shouldn't be a problem.
No, serious.
I will.
Yeah, tell them that they said this was solid waste. Ask them what you need to do
Does
to,
the board want to act or does the board want to continue?
I would rather continue.
Can we make that motion?
Sure. We make a motion to continue CPN 2026-031.
To
Two weeks.
June 9th, this is
June 9th.
June 9th? Does the motion have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the discussion.
I would say, Scott, a further discussion, just to think about what Chuck was saying about not stockpiling, talking to the DEC, and then just getting rid of your application.
I will certainly do that. Whatever's most expeditious.
And then the other thing
Looking
is
for a
364
provider
apartments
to
from the lands.
fall off.
Just write that down part of your conversation.
And I'll preface by saying I'll reluctantly vote to continue, but reluctant. I don't know what it's gonna get us, but give you the courtesy.
Okay, thank you.
Right? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's, oh, you're leaving, Jake.
No, I'll be back.
All right, let's go to CPN 2026-041. It's a second extension request from the folks out on Airport Road that want to put the landscaping business in. And Logan, tell us how you're making out or what's hanging you up.
We haven't received anything back from the DEC, but there has been
Sounds familiar.
legal things with the DEC and the stipulations for the 2025 regulation.
Are you just waiting on JD?
I talked to the
Okay, so
wetland
back
delineator today and he said that he's like 99% sure that they're just gonna throw it out. Because it's under 12.5 acres and the majority of the wetland that's the informational part is a man-made ditch. So.
Yeah.
That's my understanding is
How I
that
look at it.
the DEC's council, and this is secondhand, obviously, has said, just stop doing anything on these, so. There's no, until the lawsuit overturned the law, I said, just stop. For the time being until we can figure out something else. So there's no JD forthcoming is my assumption.
And that's my take on it as well. I mean, is there a chance we can go back to the original approval before 2025 and just get a signature and get on our way? Because that basically that's what the DEC is saying is what's happening. It's everything's going back in time.
Just for clarification, so what you had just shared with us, they want everybody to freeze their positions until all of the appeals.
My understanding, and again, this is secondhand, DEC wetland delineator program people told a group of people in a training session shortly after the lawsuit came down that the legal counsel said, just stop issuing these things for now. I don't know if that's true or not. That's what I heard. Either way, there's a lawsuit, a court stopped, said that the law that created the jurisdictional determination rule has to be stricken.
Yeah.
Stricken.
I didn't.
But so I think everybody's in a holding pattern
Right. Well,
right now.
my wife does wetland delineations and she was told that to resubmit everything. If you got a negative determination.
Oh.
So I mean, basically they're starting from scratch again.
So you think in the next 90 days,
I
this will come to,
was hoping
it sounds like
to
you're,
get it like 90 days ago, but I think I'm real close. So
You think that?
He said that 90 days ago.
So either I say we get another extension just to
Yeah.
see what happens. And I'm hoping for the best.
But.
Okay,
Yeah, your guys' position too, right?
your site plan's not changed in any way.
No, the only thing that's standing for the signature is this aspect of the project,
So your conditions don't have that. Okay,
as far as I know.
it's within our protocol of granting justifiable extensions for second 90 days. So if someone's willing to give that motion, let's
So move.
have a
Second.
motion second for the discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Thanks.
we'll see you before that, you guys.
Yep.
All right, Jake.
How do we feel about 180 days?
Now we're gonna talk,
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah.
CPN 2026-042, Marathon Engineering for Parkside Drive, for Uptown Landing. Regarding it's just section 1 final, right?
Correct.
Preliminary got signed and done. Okay, so, lay the mercy of the court here.
Yep, first off, obviously, I'm Jake Calabrese, I'm with Marathon Engineering. I have Mark Eagles with me tonight with Cook Properties, as well as Jeff Cook is online with Cook Properties. So yeah, we're here tonight to request a 180-day extension of the Uptown Landing final section 1 site plan approval. The main reason for this is as we all know, the electrical supply, the offsite improvements. Our first I'll run it back a little bit. So June 2025 is where we did our final submission to our RG&E with our final load letters, and that's where they came back to us and said, well, for the full project, we do not have enough infrastructure to get enough power to your site. So with that started a conversation with us to say, well, can you then now give us a budgetary cost of what that would entail? About 2-3 months later, they gave us an estimate that was between $10 and $20 million for those offsite improvements. Once that was received, that's where the Uptown Landing team started trying to find other funding sources and grants, possible grants that we could apply for to kind of bridge the gap on that $10 to $20 million offsite costs. At that point, we've now received some assistance from the town of Canandaigua with themselves, as well as John Felbo has been assisting us, as well as Ryan Davis with Ontario County. They helped us apply for a grant. So that one was with the New York State Empire State Development, and it is worth $3 million. So that was, I believe, a month ago. I think we got word on that, which is great, but it is still not enough to make the project a full go. So right now we are still going through any and all avenues to try to bridge that gap to get to a full go on the project. Before I take any questions, I'm just going to run through all of the other agencies that we have either approvals for, verbals, will serve letters, and whatnot. MRB Group, I know Eric's not here. I gave him a call about two weeks ago. I think we have one comment letter that it's very minor comments, and I asked him, hey, do you want a plan set before we come here? He said, why don't you wait until we can submit the letter of credit and answer those final minor plan updates. Obviously, we had a letter of credit a year ago. You can only imagine where those prices went. So we're going to hold off on that until we get a little bit more security on whether it's a go or not. Then we'll get a more fine-tuned letter of credit. So that's with MRB Group. Ontario County Public Works, we had just sent in our final plan set with our response to comments. They are thankfully trying to get this approved in the sense of, because Tim is, I believe, retiring. So he kind of gave us a nice nudge to say, hey, why don't we get this fully wrapped up? So they're just reviewing our final comments. Again, nothing overly major. We've already been given a will serve letter from them, so they've kind of said that they're more than willing. We just gotta touch up on a couple things. Town of Farmington Water, we've had approval for a good portion now. They have a will serve letter from them as well. We're all good with them, and I've called Aaron, just kind of keep every 3 months, give him a quick update on kind of where we're at. City of Canandaigua, we did get our BSP5 form from them regarding the sanitary wastewater, so we're all good there. DEC also has completed their review. They are ready for signatures. Their last step was that BSP5 form, and the New York State Department of Health, they are just waiting on the approvals of everyone else. They're kind of the last one where they say, yep, can we get a will serve from the DEC from all the water, just to make sure. So we're all plan related. Comments have been addressed for the DOH, and that's kind of where we sit. So we're pretty much fully approved minus the large one, which is the electrical. And that's why we're here requesting well, we were going to request the 90, and Dan, he kind of mentioned, why don't you do 180? I think just because he knows a little bit more and how town is helping us go for the grant as well as assisting us. So he mentioned 180. So with that, if you have any questions, I'm happy to ask or answer.
Did I'm sure you talked about this, it sounds so simple. Would the power provider allow for a phase one or section one approval? And then you would sort of not bank, but I guess be on the come for anything in the future in terms of if the money doesn't come across, you're stuck with phase one, section one.
So
or you can't live with just section one.
And Jeff, if once I finish up, you're more than happy to add on, but from my understanding, that is a possibility. One, it causes project to become a bank on that, as well as the bigger issue that is we perform some of the offsite work, maybe not all of it, but offsite work to increase their power load. We build phase one, and then another subdivision along the chain gets approved. They're under the threshold, then they're fine, and then it kicks back to us. So it's a risk that I don't know if we're necessarily willing to take, in the sense of we don't want to put money forward and have somebody else benefit, and then it's back to that same large price and we already paid in, which is a really unfortunate way of how kind of the RG&E build out works, but it is what it is, and that's what we're trying to work through.
Well, Dick, I think we certainly understand your situation, and certainly it's nothing, as a result of what you've done that's caused the delay, and that's one of the reasons we have time factors or deadlines on these applications. But I guess for the board's consideration, this would be a change of our policy to a pretty great degree in terms of the third extension. It would be for 180 days. And the reason, again, we do that is to make sure that projects don't linger. And the other thing is, and the concern would be if any standards, regulations change during that period, would they be applied to the project? And I'm now thinking the site design criteria manual, I don't know how that would have, that could come online in this 180 days. Would that then apply to this?
Why don't you, I'm confident the applicant would be comfortable if you're willing to grant the 180 days. Why don't you say subject to revised site design criteria, if applicable. Quite frankly, the site design criteria will apply either way. It's whatever's in effect. If Jim Fletcher says, all right, we need 800-foot wide public roads, you're building 800-foot wide public roads because the town won't accept dedication of them otherwise. But why don't we just specify that in the resolution?
Well, that was any other regulations that would change.
And I think we've also, because of the IZ process, a lot of that, I mean, again, like you said, we're gonna have to adhere to all of those standards, but most of the width, the lot shapes and whatnot, those are within the IZ.
Those won't be
Correct, yeah.
affected. These are site design criteria that, you know, public infrastructure
Yeah, yep.
specifications for the most part, that won't really impact the development. It impacts the town more. So generally the builders say whatever you want, just tell me what you
Well,
want. and I'll
I
back
think,
it, right.
I think this change of design standards will affect the complete streets. Cause I know, you know, Mark had a concern with this project that was kind of wishy-washy, wasn't really defined as to what a, you know, the complete street would have in terms of width and its, you know, sidewalks and its bike lanes and all that. So I think that's one thing that this design criteria revision will address, will be more detail on the streets. I hope it does anyway. So you might
And
be
yeah.
subject to those requirements.
And that's, I think that's understandable.
Okay. I guess the other thing is in terms of, could we somehow put a condition in here that this is not a precedent, that this is something, a unique situation, a situation not certainly
of their
not
own
controlled by the applicant?
Yeah, it's not of their own doing.
No, that's what I'm saying.
G and E wouldn't look at the plans until we approved them.
But just to
And
like
then to tell us
document it, that this
Yeah.
isn't like.
I would just feel comfortable that we're not starting a precedent. that
Why don't you
this is
say,
unique to this.
Once you add a whereas that this is a unique situation with through no fault of their own, you know, and the town has worked extensively.
With recommendations from the town already.
Yeah, by the way, you have
John
represent.
and
Jared.
Former supervisor Jared Simpson has submitted a letter in support of this.
You know, let's put all that in.
Director of Development Dan Del Priori has submitted a letter. I spoke with current town supervisor Don Cotter earlier today. He's in support of this, and as town attorney, I've worked with this applicant extensively over the past couple of years on this, and I'm in support of it as well and recommend that you grant it with the conditions we discussed.
Even though it's a variation of our current policy, it's as a result of these conditions.
And in the long term, it does benefit Canandaigua in that whole stretch of 332
Yeah.
immensely, so.
It's a unique, the size of the project that. Okay.
It's been a lot.
We do too,
You
and-
know,
and-
so we want to see it come to
Board, are you
something.
okay with third extension, 180 days?
Yes.
If so, give me a motion.
So Amanda would approve.
Second.
I'll let Mark take it. because
Oh,
He verbalized it.
Mark
Yeah.
and Tim.
So moved with the revised whereas for the third 180-day extension for CPN 5-0000 Parkside Drive.
Second.
Okay, motion second, with the conditions of any changes in regulations and that they would be in effect or they would become effective as part of when the plans are presented. And that this is not a precedent setting. All right, very good. All in favor? Aye.
We're very much appreciative of that. Thank you.
Okay, we're getting down to Senate phone picture, so let's follow the agenda. Can I have approval for the minutes from April 28th? So moved.
Second.
Okay, I know that was a long time ago. It was a month ago. Okay, with the motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Oops. Thank you, Kareem. Nice job as usual. No, oh yeah, we do have security reasons. I'll tell you what, let's do the Seneca one first. Under business, we've got a application in front of us for a lot line adjustment, which typically doesn't come before this board, but in this case,
Have a good night.
the applicant is requesting a waiver from the requirement of the lot versus width, the 3 acres or more. And because it was a waiver, it's a waiver from what we normally do or what the standard, then we have to come to us, and I will ask our attorney to brief us as to what's transpiring here, other than just swapping properties.
So thanks, Chuck. So as you may be able to tell from this location, the town is in the process of acquiring this parcel from Gina Felbo Royds, who's the current owner of a much larger parcel. The rules, Kristen looked at it and said, oh, we don't even need to do a subdivision application to the planning board to get that slice of the parcel out. It qualifies as a lot. You guys get lost. Oh, you got more information.
No, we just wondered if we could ask a question.
Want to pause?
Oh, that's yes.
Yeah.
We won't keep you guys till 10 o'clock.
We just wondered what the depth would need to be for it not to be considered a stockpile. In other words, if we spread it over more area, would that reduce the stockpile?
That would be a question for the zoning officer, would be the legal authority who could make that determination. Probably in consultation with the director of development and the town attorney, yours truly, tomorrow morning.
But it would have to be less than 5 yards.
No, well, and I'm looking at, as we're talking, I want to be clear, I didn't make a legal judgment there. I said,
Right,
geez, it sure looks to me that,
right.
as we were reading that. It looks like the actual stockpiling depth requirement would be that it be in a pile. Off the top of my head, I don't know how a pile is. Is it 2 feet? Is it 2 inches?
You're good.
Somewhere else.
So the trigger is 5 cubic yards if it's in a pile. If it's been excavated, which includes fill, which includes a stockpile.
Where on the property do you have room to spread it out?
I mean, we could spread it on the woodlot property at a much shallower depth.
Mr. Knight seems to want that shell, said it's his shell.
But then if we take it over to the neighbor, then that involves yet another DEC.
Why don't you call Kristen and Dan in the morning
Okay.
to get an answer on that question?
Okay.
A preliminary answer, I think, because I'm tied up in the morning, but maybe or early afternoon, maybe we could all talk it through.
Okay. All right.
Oh, afternoon.
Afternoon.
We got you thinking. It's good.
Yeah, no,
Right.
well, I know where you're coming from, so I'm just trying to figure out a solution here. You know, obviously the owner wants to use this. Oh. So thank you very much.
Okay. All right, so
Point.
back to
Where was I? Okay. So it doesn't technically comply with the subdivision rules, which govern lot line adjustments. Because it's more than 2 times the length. The length is more than 2 times the width, which requires a waiver from the planning board. Upon discussion with the director of development and Kristen, and some looking into the town law, Article 16, lot line adjustments are included in the state definition of a subdivision. Therefore, they can be granted by the planning board. They are also eligible for administrative approval, but not required to be administratively approved. So therefore, and so this board is the only one that can grant a waiver of that 2 times lot length times width. So and you can only grant a waiver if you're approving the subdivision. So our recommendation, our request to the planning board is that you approve the lot line adjustment and grant the waiver. This is a lot line adjustment. It's not like a traditional subdivision that's gone through 15 layers of review, and Kristen, the zoning officer, has gotten it to a point where if it didn't need a waiver, she would have handed it to Chuck for his signature. Chuck would have looked at it and said, "Oh, looks good to me," and signed it. It's a little more complicated than that, but so your zoning officer, town planner has said everything's in order here. And so she's asking that you approve the lot line adjustment, which is kind of a formality to grant a waiver. But obviously it's an approval as like any other.
Christian, can you share where's the lot line adjustment?
Yeah.
Cause I thought that was that's what it was right now.
So this is existing lot 1.
Yep.
This is existing lot 2, and then what was left? is
3.
lot-
That's existing all right down today.
Yeah, by now they're just So this will be lot 2, lot 1, and then lot 3. So this is why we need the waiver, because the lot depth exceeds 2.5 times the lot width.
So with one, there's access right below Kristen's hand to lot 3.
Yeah,
Point Road.
yeah, but that's not a good access.
Well, but there's also access from a residential building lot standpoint, because you're also technically creating a residential building.
And the goal is to take,
Through
get
easement.
the trail.
When you granted the original subdivision, required an easement
Yeah.
here maybe
Yep.
to lot 3 to access things. So there are 2 points of access to lots.
Oh,
So the front
So
lot,
is lot 3 a new lot?
No,
We're starting with 3 lots and ending with 3 lots.
that's.
It's
I
just
think-
the
it's
lot
a newly
line.
shaped lot.
Where's the
Can you put up-
current frontage for lot number 3?
Where's the new lot frontage?
The new lot frontage, that
Yeah.
is it.
Where's the
Where's
current
the current frontage? for lot?
I think it would go, it's really hard. to
You
see
put
out.
Encore up there
It doesn't show it. Encore
okay.
shows the whole property.
as a single lot?
Yeah.
can catch the
Let me see if there's something better.
It's been recently that.
Yeah.
We did that, right?
Yeah, we did.
It hasn't updated yet.
And did you say the town is in the process of acquiring lot 3?
3
Yes.
for we were trying to get the gulch so that we can connect it all the way down to the lake.
The town is also
Correct me if I'm wrong,
simultaneously
but it's
purchasing
the same property. that
the other
we had
side of
finished discussions.
this property,
Oh, yeah.
which will connect to land that the town
Yeah.
acquired
Same
several years ago.
Sightline approval issues, but when they wanted to give it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if my memory serves me right, that access on lot 3 was not an approved driveway. It was not permitted or anything. He just did it one day.
Oh, the road frontage, yeah.
The road, on the road frontage, yeah, he called it a farm lane.
Oh, no, that's somebody else, isn't it?
But access to lot 3 is granted through the easement through the other properties, correct?
Or the
Yeah.
farm road.
We do have the subdivision plat in another workspace if you wanted to look at a little clearer image of the current configuration. So that is CPN. There's 2 numbers in here. 2023-092.
I'm sorry, I was dreaming here for a second.
2023-092.
Chris, other than acquiring that property for protection of the gully, which is what we call it,
Yeah, trail.
the trail, is there any intended use and intended public use of that property?
Yes, it'll be a public trail. It'll connect Ononda.
Yep.
To the Seneca Point. And across the street from that is
So-
Finger Lakes Land Trust land that will be further connection to the trail.
So you'd be increasing the intensity of use of the driveway that was approved that had deficient sight distance.
No, not that one. It might be the other one.
When the subdivision was approved, there was limited sight distance to the south
Yeah.
for the speed of the road. And the subdivision was approved for 3 lots. Left.
I don't know, I don't have the subdivision in front of me.
That doesn't even show the whole access.
So this is it.
Figure it out.
That's currently right now.
Yeah, it doesn't even show that lane.
That makes better sense, whatever.
Was it the newest site plan that you wanted, Kristen?
Yeah,
No, I think this shows it, this,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's the way it was, that's what the subdivisions.
Yeah.
Originally,
Yep.
then you were gonna have the camp,
Yep.
the campgrounds. And these, I think they sold sold lot one, right?
Isn't there, I think that's the goal, I don't think they did. but-
Oh, I knew it was on the market.
Wait,
It's still
is,
no
is this
change.
a parking area up there?
Just-
What's overlooked?
It's not listed as pending or anything like that.
Oh, for parking.
Yeah.
So that's-
Yeah, how far away is that?
Gotta get up to 21.
Oh, it's not close, so. I don't know the answer. to that.
You mean Vista?
Not that far. So, I'm sorry, I stepped out.
No, it's.
I had a nice conversation with Jake there.
That wedge right there is the parking area.
Above
Proposed parking area for the trail.
That's a,
It's not on Seneca Point.
that's across. the-
Oh, for the trail. Not,
There,
not the,
so-
okay.
So if
That's
you're
not
gonna,
a problem.
if you're gonna head down going on, yeah, this is part of the town's right away.
Right, yeah,
So,
yeah.
so the concern. People aren't gonna be parking or there's no drive sorry. Back up, there's no driving access into lot 3. For the public, there's no public, the town will not be providing driving access.
So it's where they store the car.
So where the-
on your feet.
So where the town right of way is, then there's another parcel.
It's just a right of way.
Yes.
That, so what
I
would
don't think so.
somebody gain,
There is actually a
Oh,
parcel.
I got you, yeah.
so to get to the trail, you have to go over that property, right? Or they walk up they'd walk up the road?
Yeah, they'd walk along the town right away. And to be honest, I haven't heard the town's plan for the trail. This is more of a, let's get this connection made. Cause as I said, by the way, I was buying this as well. I think it's already old. Yeah, oh.
Yeah, brother-in-law property over there.
So it'll be a full, this will complete the connection going on the part.
He owns all of this.
Very good. Okay, board head area. How do you feel about the new lot configuration?
Yeah, all these.
The driving access over the easement will only be for town maintenance purposes. It will also not be a town. Public access to drive over there.
Are all the,
Those in the conditions of it?
yeah, the agreements for that.
That'll be, that's part of the real estate transaction.
Hmm.
That we will not access. There will not be made of it. Someone's gonna buy them too and live there. Presumably, and it's not bad to have a town trail, but to have a town. Drive.
That's a nice lot. I walked that lot. It's nice up there.
So then the lot 2, there would still need to be between lot 1, changed lot 1 and lot 2, there would still need to be an agreement for access because they're using the same drive to get.
Lot
to
1
it,
and
but
2
that's-
have access for houses that are gonna be built on lot 2. Yeah, lot 1.
Okay.
Lot 3.
They're-
The town will be able to use that, it's the access, that existing easement,
This easement.
to,
Limited maintenance.
limited maintenance.
Right.
Small
parts.
Yeah.
Right.
And but nothing in the subdivision application before you is requesting that limitation. That'll be something I work out with the seller's attorney prior to closing. We'll include
So the
it.
alignment of the access easement's not changing.
Correct.
So the same access easement would apply to the new lot configuration.
Cause
No public driving access. Or just limited access was limited.
I need this to appraise as a buildable lot. not as a permanently vacant lot. So that the town can justify, I mean, theoretically, a house could be built on
Theoretically,
this.
it is already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I don't wanna limit that. And I also don't want to, that's something I wanna negotiate with the seller's attorney, the language therein. Not be compelled by this board. If this board is willing to go along with that, either way, you know, there's current existing right of way there, or excuse me, easement.
I'm trying to remember when that was potentially a camp. I
Yeah,
guess that right away
Yeah.
was the access to that camp.
yeah,
So now it'll be the access to the town park.
Yeah.
correct.
So
Makes
making
sense.
that into town park and trails, would that require site plan approval?
No, it's not going to be a town park. I want to be very clear about that. The town is going to. So most of the trail already exists. The two property owners have lovingly created and maintained over decades trails for their own personal use. This will be, the town will take over, turn them into add whatever is required for a public trail. But not, I mean, they're not gonna be, you know, they're not putting ramps and guardrails in. This is a natural surface trail.
I don't understand, but there, one would think that there needs to be a trail head, just like you said. You're gonna have public parking, and then needs to be an access to.
Yeah. I don't know the answer to that off the top of my head, Tim. If it's required to have site plan approval, then it'll obviously come here, but. I've never seen. A trail site plan approval. Have we?
No, only in a subdivision or is.
5 cubic yards or more.
I was gonna say, well, Lakewood Meadows. We've had approvals for Lakewood Meadows Trail 17 or 18 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you did Miller Park too.
We had a site plan?
No, the site plan was just,
No.
it was a park and rec had a concept. But their trails are all just move trails.
Yeah,
Well, but there's a parking lot though for Miller Park.
There is a parking lot, you're right. It's.
I mean, I'm assuming. I'm assuming that little wedge is going to be a parking area. But to be honest, Tim, I don't know that. That's my assumption, not what the town has planned.
This is, I'm
Chris
surprised.
is reassuring
You
you
got
that
a
it's
lot.
a deed restriction. That it's going to limit public driving
Gonna
access
sell that land.
to lot
Hell or high water. Things change.
I've reassured you that I'm gonna negotiate that with the seller's attorney.
Yeah, Mark asked me, what are we discussing? What are we talking
Why
about?
are we still talking?
And I was saying,
Are
you have
we-
reassured me.
Are we ready for a motion
Amen.
at this
Yeah.
point?
Motion
Yeah, I
to
think
waive.
we've
Well, Tim,
granted the waiver and.
you're good? Your questions have all been answered?
The only question I have, since this is a subdivision,
Yeah.
should the seeker be unlisted or
Checked and
Not
lot
gonna
line
change
adjustments are
that, couldn't
typically.
change the picture right now anyway.
typically we don't do seeker at all, but I mean,
We
yeah.
just,
Okay.
Yeah, I had to look it up.
All
So
right,
it's just
check
the
it.
movement
We're
of
good.
lot lines.
All right, so Amanda, we need a motion for the seeker type 2 and the sub.
Then I will make that motion for the type 2 and the lot line adjustment with the waiver on 2645.
Second.
The motion second, and the waiver is duly noted in the resolution, and we granted it. And we go. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That allows a closing timeline that is really necessary. A little creative and out of the ordinary, but it's 100% legal doing it this way, and I'm glad you guys were able to wrap your heads around it. So thank you.
Okay, real quick, before we do the releases, this mandatory cyber training, is
that real? Was that
It
a
is real.
spam? Okay.
It's real.
It takes maybe 15 minutes.
Okay.
I wanna know who number 1 is, because he keeps telling me I'm number 2.
Oh, no, we're number one.
Oh, you were
I said
number-
I was number one.
What are you
Okay.
talking about?
Here we go.
Does it?
Yeah, and then you get an email
Number
number
of the
11:59
people
from some weird.
All right, so you got,
Okay.
you gotta
so
do it
this
by
is-
Thursday, is that 28th?
Other than
And what
your
happens if you don't?
You get less homework.
John Feldo will call you. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why do the owls keep getting fatter as they get more experience?
All right, so
I guess I need to train. I need to see what that's all about.
number one and number two are taking it, so 3, 4, and 5 have to do it.
Got it.
Okay, let's go back to cheery reads. Okay, we have a couple, they are listed in the agenda. And I think there's some explanation of regarding the Sunset Ridge. As far as why we're releasing all the money, and Kristen, do you want to explain it, or is
It's my understanding that there were duplicate items that were paid for, so
apparently a cash security was provided, which is the subject of release,
yes,
but then overall surety.
Yeah.
Letter of credit.
Yeah.
Was issued, which included
some of the
the work
items.
that was under
Yeah.
the cash security.
So we're just giving back what they paid.
So we're giving back the cash.
Overpayment,
Yeah.
No,
payment
duplicate,
twice.
duplicate payment.
duplicate.
Paying.
Duplicate, yeah.
Oh. So you still have $42,020.
No, we have a surety.
Sure.
And a surety.
Yep.
A bond, okay.
So can we note that someplace that we're giving back money that was paid twice?
I think they paid the cash initially, Mark, to get going.
Yeah.
And they didn't have the surety for the whole project. So then when they got the surety for the project, they had those improvements covered twice.
All I'm asking is that we note that we're doing a return of money that was
Duplicate.
Is
that was a
covered.
duplicate.
Yep,
Okay, I mean, we can put that in.
this is Sunset Ridge.
Yeah,
Okay, my recommendation, 1, Corinne, can you make that really clear in the meeting minutes? 2. There's nowhere to write a note.
I know.
Well, I talked to
Wait.
FRB about it.
you got an explanation.
The applicant
I got
provided,
a partial explanation, yes.
okay,
Mike Murphy gave me my explanation.
Yeah. The second paragraph of MRB's letter dated May 13th, 2026. Says the applicant provided and the town accepted an overall letter of credit in the amount of $901,000. Which includes the items and amount covered by this grading surety. Therefore, we are recommending that the requested $23,000 of the original $23,000 be released to the surety holder, thereby leaving $0 closing out this surety.
As long as it says something along the lines of as it was a duplicate.
It says the amount, which includes the items and the amount covered by this grading surety.
So when I read that, that implies that the work was complete. That's how I read that. And as such, the money is going back.
I understand your point, so let's make it clear in our meeting minutes, the work is not complete, or this board is not aware of the complete whether or not the work has been completed, but that it's a duplicate payment. Just say that. Is that okay, Mark?
That was
Okay, and that would apply to 2 of the releases, the grading surety and the ENS control surety. Okay, do we want to do a motion for each? I'll make a motion on the grading security release of $23,760, which is closes out that surety, cash surety. I make that motion,
I'll second that.
knowing this is duplicate.
Okay.
Any discussion?
Yeah.
All in favor?
I can't chew it.
Sorry.
Chew gum and, yeah. Okay, let's do the other one then. Somebody else wanna do it,
All in
so
favor?
we can get it
Aye.
done?
Aye.
Oh,
Everyone voted.
okay. I figured Chris would take it.
Brent can't tell who's talking.
So we're going to next go to
42,017
for $42,020. I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
That baby.
Again, as a duplicate payment.
That's because it is a duplicate thing.
Brent,
Yes.
same language here.
Okay, got a motion, a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, let's move on to Pierce Brook.
So while we're on topic of Sunset Bridge, because I would strongly encourage that we upgrade our ID in some way, shape or form.
What does that mean?
The ID that says that we're part of the town, other than the little yellow card. So, cause I could have,
Oh,
we still have the permit, yeah, that's, cause I almost pulled out the garbage permit that looked more official than our town planning board permit. So motivation is. In my short tenure here, it's the first time that I've been met with a firearm on somebody's property.
Ooh.
Okay.
I don't think that had to do with the ID you were carrying, if I had to guess. I
Anyway,
think you could have town supervisor sitting next to you and you may have still gotten
yeah,
firearm.
I might still have gotten that, so that was entertaining, but then the discussions after that were very positive. But brought in additional neighbors as well that talk about the water problems we're having. So if anybody has general interest, they should certainly take a look.
A reminder, once it's an active construction site, you need to sign in and wear a hard hat. So we'll say that, it just dawned on me. Or
Yeah,
wear-
I actually wasn't, I was coming from the other side, so I was on the park side,
Well,
so I was.
and they're just grading right now.
Normally, I always do knock and stuff before I go onto
Yeah.
somebody's property
Oh,
if
yeah.
I see them there.
yep.
And I was on an adjacent and I was just welcome, hey, how can I help you, sir?
But.
How can I help you?
But active construction site from a safety standpoint, and it's law, you gotta go through the front door of the trailer. Sign in and be wearing appropriate PPE.
Right, but I was told we should not even be there.
On an active construction
It's on an
site,
active site, and that's more code compliance.
Yeah, that would make sense.
if you're planning board members, you granted the approval, you're entitled to be.
That's what I'm saying, it's like, we've been, it's all code compliance then.
The work is done, you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I've been told.
Or if you're gonna do it, go with the code guy.
Yeah, yeah, totally, yeah.
Don't go on your own.
I don't know, I don't necessarily agree with that.
Let's go or?
I mean, you're allowed to go. But you're the ones who granted the approval and made the rules, and it's not just code compliance. It's not actually code, what the conditions of this planning board are not code. They're the conditions of this planning board and your authority unto yourselves. And, you know. Would code enforcement officers and developers prefer you not messing around? Yes. But I don't want you to think that you're not allowed to go. You are.
That's good to hear. And it's on the record now.
To the extent that you're not making a nuisance of yourself, and like I said, that you are signing in
Oh,
and wearing PPE.
we're gonna make a note.
Yeah, by the way, I'm a lawyer, yeah, now here, question, I mean, you can't go every day, at that point. I'm gonna tell you, look, you're making a nuisance and they're trying to build something and you're not allowed to do that. You know.
The trigger for this case was that I got a request to look at returning a surety for what I thought was work that was claimed to be completed. So anybody asked why I was looking at that property, that's why I was showing up.
Good point.
So
And anybody who's telling you that that's not allowed, and I would like to discuss.
That's totally allowed.
Okay, we got one more to do. Oh, no, we didn't do plan. Pierce Brook.
Westford.
We've got West Turbot. Somebody wanna give away the big money? The 289, 480? Or no, excuse me, 182. 182, 692. Anybody got that to give away?
You mentioned
Amanda makes a motion.
So moved.
I think she did.
So moved.
Okay, got a second?
I'll second
All
Amanda
right.
motion. Thank you.
Oh, that's a great line. Yes.
All right.
All right. This is for Morel.
Did we go?
Piercebrook.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
So while we're on Piercebrook, because it's the rage now, but the road is paved all the way over to Parish. Just like to say that the first section that's been completed, it has a beautiful sidewalk, but everyone's walking in the road.
Why?
Because it's not wide enough to walk two people inside.
How big is it? 4?
Supposed to be five.
No, it'd be 5 feet.
5 feet.
Because
5 feet.
we were driving through to see the new road. and
Did you guys?
We started, we went through.
I think it's 5
People
feet.
are out, nice evening, everybody's
Should be
walking the road.
You can lead people to sidewalk. Can't make them.
I think that was site design was 5 feet.
It's 5 feet. It is 5 feet. Yeah.
Is it 5 feet?
Site design, I
Well-
was 5 feet.
Well, now that I'm thinking about
It
it,
doesn't.
I feel like maybe they said, well, it should be more natural, and somebody said that'd be fine, like a zoning board or the board.
That was their walk. That was their
Path.
path.
Oh,
Yeah, trails.
Trails.
The trails. have
Yeah,
been-
mowed, natural.
Yeah.
Not mowed.
No.
Well, somebody should measure. And for example, like,
Are you
so
allowed to be on it?
I agree, it could be a code enforcement opportunity. But you're the ones who know what should be there, and code enforcement's not measuring every part of the sidewalk, that's not their job. If there's a concern, take a tape measure to it and let code enforcement know.
Oh, it's just, this is human nature, that's what people do.
Okay, Dean, we're getting close.
Yeah.
How about West Turf?
Overnight.
West Turf is asking for all their money back, 55,106.
Yeah.
I was waiting to see if the trees bloomed, blossomed.
Jumping on.
Thank
It appears they did.
Made the motion, CPN 23,061, return 55,106.
I'll second.
The motion second. For discussion, if not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, training.
Done.
The Plains Federation is having a conference at the FLCC in August 7th to be exact. And keep track, I guess similar to what they did last year.
Put it all day.
It was most of the.
It's like a 6-hour, she said 3 sessions.
And the chapter 170 reviews, thank you for your comments that you submitted to Dan. He has done a roll-up of the comments. And I really didn't read them that thoroughly. They were published this afternoon, so they're gonna go before the ordinance committee next month. And I think we're still gonna get a chance to discuss it here, because I don't think we've really spent any time on it. Because we were waiting for the site design criteria and the stormwater management.
If
it all related.
Be wrapped together.
And we expressed that, I expressed it, you expressed it. I think Mark expressed it, so Bob expressed it, so
What's the site design review? Where I haven't found that.
they haven't done it yet.
Oh, that's not. Can't look at it yet. Got it.
Hasn't rolled out yet. Okay, so that's that. Anything else for the good of the group? Make sure I got all that stuff.
Chuck, just on special projects, I mean, there's a lot of people are working on many different things. But I wouldn't consider special projects well organized right now because of lack of definition as to what they are. But again, putting that out there, let me know that. One of these meetings- One of these meetings, you're gonna ask me for an update on special projects. The stormwater's been a little bit, there's a lot of attention around that, that's being derailed by step 70. It's unclear as to, well, we know nothing's happening with the comp plan in the near term, but it's probably 2 years out. So what do we want to do with that during that time to try to figure out what makes sense with that? So there's a lot of variables with change that it doesn't.
Yeah,
compelling reason to.
I realize that, and that's why we haven't pushed it much. And I know the site design criteria manuals, and flux, I don't know, solar, if there's any new things coming out of that, batteries.
I'm working on batteries.
I guess batteries. And the trail committee.
Trail.
Have you met?
committee. We met twice. I missed this month's meeting, but I was at the first meeting, so I'm sure the whole Seneca Point thing was discussed at last week's meeting.
Yeah.
We're meeting monthly.
So things are happening,
For-
things are happening,
As long as you're comfortable.
we're all, no, we're all engaged. Okay, anything else? Don?
Motion to adjourn at 8:04 p.m.
Okay, very good.
Second.
All in favor?
Bye.